Assume we're good.
Can we be?
You're right. Maybe a little effort. All right. Put it in gear.
Go.
All right. Hey, welcome back to yet another episode of Road Noise. I was talking to some folks earlier today, and they're asking, "Hey, what season are you on now?" And I had mentioned
Yeah,
six.
what season?
I think we're in six,
Okay.
and it's like I don't know, probably 50 some episodes deep into six. And yeah, so somebody was commenting that they were catching up and made it through. They're well into season five. So I'm like, well, once
Okay.
you get to six, you still got another 50 or so to go. So yeah, I enjoy these, Dad. I'm glad we get a chance to catch up and record these conversations and share the just like that reminder of God's faithfulness for 50 years. And as those that have been hanging out with us know that there's a lot of fun along the way, a lot of just good insight and reminder to just God's provision in ministry, but also just in life. So hopefully that's an encouragement to you as you hear these episodes. That even if you're not in full-time ministry like my folks are, there's still some good lessons in here. The reminders that regardless of where you're at in life, God's still looking out.
He certainly is. Well, last episode, we were in Michigan in the dead of winter, if I remember correct. And some poor guy was looking for his car keys in a snowbank. So, hey, winter in Michigan, let's take a detour on that one and let's go to Florida for a couple of weeks in the winter. And so, with this episode, I want to share a story that took place one winter when I had two very, very solid weeks of meetings scheduled in Florida. We had kind of established a thing many years ago that we would alternate, usually in the month of February. Um, one February, we'd go to Florida. The next February, we'd go to California. And we'd alternate kind of like that for a few years because the bus didn't have any heat, really. And so going to those places in the month of February, we could sleep in the bus without having a furnace or anything. Well, anyway, so as I'm doing programs with Just Kidding, I'm traveling by myself, so I don't have the bus, but we still kind of wanted to keep those relationships going with the churches and schools and so forth that we had in Florida and California. And so I would take off usually for 2 weeks and kind of alternate and do that same type of a thing. Like I said, just to keep those relationships going. And, you know, they always look forward to, you know, when are you coming back? Okay. Well, anyway, so I've got 2 weeks all by myself in Florida, very busy schedule. Um, Christian school in the morning and church in the evening, and that type of thing for 2 weeks. So that's kind of what the schedule is going to look like. Oh, but it's not just me. I had my rabbit with me. And so the two of us, I mean, the rabbit was part of the magic show. And for those of you that are watching or listening, I hope that maybe you got to meet my rabbit. His name was Shampoo. And I know that might sound like a strange name for a rabbit, but not really if you think about it. I mean, I called my rabbit Shampoo because it has something to do with the hair. Oh, did I mention he was a magic rabbit? Do you know how you get a rabbit to do tricks? Well, you have to condition it. Well, anyway, so
Dad jokes are
yeah,
at
that
the front
was.
now.
I got some for you at the end too.
That's right.
Yeah, Shampoo and I had a good time together, and the audience enjoyed it because I always shared about his name and so forth, and so we had a lot of fun together. And he was a very vital part of the magic shows that I was doing at that time. Well, anyway, so here I am. I'm in Florida. I just finished doing a Christian school that morning, doing their chapel. And do you people ever stop to think, what does somebody like me do in between meetings. I mean, okay, I'm at this Christian school in the morning. I did their chapel, but now I've got some time before I have to be at the next church tonight. Now, sometimes that downtime in between, I've got to drive a couple, 3 hours or something to get to the next church. But on this particular day, it really wasn't going to be that terribly far away. And so I'm figuring, hey, this is going to be kind of an easy day. Yeah, I've got two programs to do, but I've got this block of time here in the middle of the afternoon where I can do whatever I want, I guess, because there's nothing else on the calendar. Well, I wasn't real familiar with the area. I didn't really know what there was to do or what there was to see. And so it's like, okay, I've got some time, but where am I going to spend it? And as I'm kind of going through that in my mind, I'm driving down the road and I saw a sign that said State Park. I'm thinking, oh, a state park. That would be a good place just to hang out for a couple hours and read my Bible and get caught up and yeah. So I found a place to turn around and I went back and pulled into the state park. Hadn't gone very far and there's a whole section with picnic tables. And there's a vacant table right underneath some great big beautiful trees. And the park itself was gorgeous. So when I saw that picnic table, I'm thinking, okay, that's for me. I'm going to stop here, and that picnic table and I are going to be friends for the next few hours. I'll get some fresh air and just relax time. And oh, Shampoo's going to get some fresh air too. I mean, we've been riding in the van together. Oh, this might be a good opportunity to clean Shampoo's cage out too, so that the rest of our journey will smell a little bit better. Well, anyway, so I parked, and first thing I did is I went over to the picnic table. It was a little bit of a walk from where I had to park, but I mean, yeah, 20, 30 feet type thing. And I took Shampoo with me, and I set him in his cage on the bench of the picnic table. But before I sit down and relax, I'm going to go back to the van and I'm going to get ready for tonight's program. You see, when I'm doing the gospel magic and everything, I've got my show basket all packed before I get to wherever it is I'm supposed to be. So when I get there, most of the work is already done as far as setup. And so I just finished chapel that morning. Everything is a mess in my basket. And so before I get to the church tonight, I've got to reset everything. And so I'm ready to go when I get there. So I worked on doing that. Well, I just started rearranging my stuff and I noticed a guy pulled up there in the parking lot where I was at in a pickup truck. And I glanced over, and on the side of the truck, it has the name of the park. Oh, and the guy in the truck is a park ranger. So he gets out, walks around the truck over to where I'm at. And like I said, I'm there packing up my magic stuff. And he looks at me and says, "Hope you're not planning on letting that rabbit loose in my park." And I'm like, no, sir. That rabbit is part of my magic shows. And I'm going to be at a church tonight. I just did a school this morning and just having some time here just to get ready for tonight. But no, I'm not going to be letting the rabbit loose. You better not. I'm just telling you, I don't want that rabbit loose in my park. Okay. And he turned around, got back in his truck and drove off. I'm thinking, he certainly doesn't understand. I mean, why would I let the rabbit loose in Florida? We still got all these programs to do, all these different churches. I mean, he's a vital part of a magic show. But obviously this guy isn't getting it, and so, yeah. Don't worry, I'm not going to be letting the rabbit loose. I need this rabbit. Okay. Well, anyway, so I get the my program all set for that evening, and I go over to and sit down next to Shampoo, and we just sat there and enjoyed probably a good solid 2 hours. And it was just great. Fresh air, sunshine, but we're sitting in the shade, beautiful weather. I mean, yeah. If you got some downtime in Florida, State Park is a good place to kill some time. Well, anyway, so I figured, all right, we're getting close. We should probably leave. I'm not exactly sure where this next church is at, so leave plenty of time. And about that time, here comes that pickup truck again. But he didn't pull in next to where I was parked, but it had gotten warmer, and the window on the passenger side was down. I mean, he probably needed some fresh air too, the park ranger. And so he just pulled up, didn't pull in next to me, but just pulled up, and he leans over to that window. I just came back to see if you let that rabbit loose yet. I'm thinking, okay, this is my opportunity. So I walked over to the truck next to that roll down window on the passenger side, and I said, sir, I says, this rabbit is a valuable tool for me. He gets to go to all these different churches and schools and perform. This is what I do. And we're here in Florida for 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, we'll be going back to Michigan, where I'm from. And he'll be doing magic shows there. I said, there's no way I'd let the rabbit loose. I take good care of my rabbit because I need him to be part of the show. He still wasn't buying it. Well, I'm just telling you, that rabbit better not get turned loose in my park. And he puts it in gear and starts to pull away. So I'm thinking, okay, buddy, just leave. You don't get it. And all right, it's probably time for me to leave too. Well, anyway, so I thought, okay, I did the best I could. So I went back and got Shampoo, and we both left. And have never been back to that state park again. You know, on our way back to Michigan, Shampoo and I had a little conversation. He told me, he said, Sheldon, I'm really glad you didn't turn me loose there in that park. Because he says, I'm not sure I could deal with that park ranger on a daily basis.
Right.
And not only that, if I wasn't traveling with you, I wouldn't get to meet all these new friends that I have and get all the loving and attention and petting and scratching behind the ears that I get. So thank you for not leaving me in the park in Florida.
Yep.
Well, anyway, so I just thought I'd share that story. Whether it's an animal like that or whatever it is. And like I said, that rabbit was valuable to me. We put a lot of miles on together over the years. And I try to take good care of Shampoo. But isn't it cool that God takes care of critters? It really does. I mean, when you read the Sermon on the Mount, consider the ravens. They neither sow nor reap, and they don't have storehouses or barns, but yet God feeds them. How much more valuable are you than the birds? Or rabbits, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, God takes care of animals, and He certainly takes good care of us.
Absolutely. Yep. What a great reminder.
Well, speaking of rabbits, you ready?
All right, let's hear it.
Where does a rabbit go for breakfast?
Hmm. Oh,
IHOP.
yep. IHOP.
What kind of jewelry does a rabbit wear?
Oh, this I don't know.
14 karat gold.
Oh, of course.
What's a rabbit's favorite game to play out on the playground?
I'm gonna guess.
Hopscotch.
Yep, hopscotch.
All right, that's all I got for you.
Oh, come on. With a couple decades worth of magic and rabbits, I'm sure you've got a whole arsenal of these jokes that are rabbit related. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
These times we'll have to catch up on all the different varieties of livestock that have helped along the way. in ministry because it's
Yeah,
a fair amount.
yeah, we had actually several rabbits over the years,
Yep.
and yeah, sometime I'll share the rent rabbit policy that we had in force for quite a long time.
Yep.
That's kind of an interesting story. It typically used Netherland dwarf rabbits, and yeah, went through a period where we had doves
Yep.
and so forth. They make they're nice in magic shows, but right now no animals at all, and that's a whole nother story because there was a time period there where our federal government made it an offense to be using animals in shows. Yeah, like I said, that'd be a whole nother podcast, but they've
Right.
since loosened up on that some. But I'm too far beyond that now. No rabbits in the show, no
Yeah.
animals at all.
Yeah. Maybe some future Florida trips, but without the livestock. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I do get to Florida with an animal, there's a park I'd like to visit again.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, we'll put it in park here and pick it up again next week.